What if the most powerful transformation you've ever experienced isn't out there, but inside you? This question is more than a reflection, it's a calling, a silent echo that reverberates in the soul of those born under the sign of Pisces. You, Pisces, carry within you a vast, silent and sacred universe. He often seeks answers in the outside world, but the truth is that the greatest wisdom lives hidden in the center of his own being. This video isn't just about self-knowledge. It is an invitation to listen to what you have been ignoring, your inner voice. For every awakened Pisces, there is a profound transformation waiting to happen. It is not a change that comes in a noisy or logical way, but through whispers, intuitions, subtle sensations, and symbolic dreams. When you start listening to that voice, and not just listening, the reality around you begins to transform as well. Before we dive in, write in the comments today's mantra to activate your journey. I listen, receive, and trust the voice of my soul. This mantra will accompany you throughout the journey of this video. Take a deep breath, open your intuition, and let's get started. There is a moment in every Pisces life when something begins to move within the invisible. A slight discomfort, a nameless longing, a desire to dive deeper into one's own existence. This movement is not a mistake, nor a coincidence. He is the silent call of the soul, but the call does not scream. He whispers. It presents itself through a sense that something is missing, even when apparently everything is in place. Maybe you felt it at a calm dawn, looking out the window, or during an ordinary conversation where something inexplicable touched you inside. For Pisces, this call is even more powerful. You who were born with the channels of sensitivity open can feel the waves of the invisible long before they manifest in the physical. But precisely because of such a heightened sensitivity, it is common to doubt what one feels. After all, the modern world teaches us to trust logic more than intuition. This chapter is to remind you, what you feel is real. And if you're watching this video right now, it's because this silent calling is active in your life. You may not yet be able to put into words what you are feeling, but the soul does not need words. It communicates with vibration, images, feelings, presentiments. Today, I invite you to accept this calling, even if you don't understand it. Do not run away from the restlessness that springs from your heart. Don't ignore the butterflies in your stomach or the desire to change. They are portals. They are invitations. They are the beginning of something sacred that only you can access. Listen. Something has already started to call you, and it's waiting for you to say yes. Have you ever noticed that your intuition doesn't just speak one way? Sometimes it comes as a physical sensation, a tightness in the chest or a shiver on the skin. Other times, it appears as a sudden thought, an image that comes out of nowhere, a song that plays at the right moment. This multiplicity is not confusion. It is a symphony. Pisces' intuition is like a spiritual choir made up of subtle nuances, vibrational frequencies, and altered states of consciousness. This is why many Pisceans feel more at home in dreams than in reality, because there, the soul sings louder. This inner voice is not a single voice, it is a set. Deep emotions, spontaneous insights, empathetic forebodings, creative impulses, symbolic dreams. It is as if the universe speaks to you in sensory code, and your soul is the only one that holds the key to deciphering this language. And you know what's more beautiful? You don't have to understand it with your mind. Intuition is not logical. It is straightforward truth. It arrives ready, whole, without needing justifications. The problem is that many times society has taught you to ignore this sound. You've been told it's exaggeration, imagination, drama, or madness. But it is not. It is ancestral wisdom. It is a memory of the soul. It is your purest channel with the divine. At this point, I invite you to imagine your intuition as an inner orchestra. The more you listen carefully, the more you notice the details. The violin of goosebumps, the drum of the accelerated beats, the whisper of the flute in your dreams. Just be silent. Let this symphony play. You will be surprised by everything she has to say. Maybe you think you don't know how to listen to your inner voice yet. But the truth is, you're already listening. You just haven't realized it yet. How many times have you felt that something was off before it even happened? Or had a dream that felt more real than the next day? Or did you feel that you should call someone and found out that the person was in need of exactly your energy? These are signs that your soul is already in communication. You are already in tune, even if you still doubt it. It turns out that the outside world, with its noises, pressures, and distractions, has trained you not to trust it. But your soul doesn't depend on your permission to express itself. It simply finds ways to reach you, and these paths are the most diverse. A dream that repeats itself, a song that touches and moves you for no reason, a phrase read by chance that answers a silent doubt, a sense of peace when thinking about a decision, or an unexplained restlessness in the face of a wrong choice. These experiences are not random. They are echoes of your inner voice, already present in your daily life. And Pisces, due to their empathetic and sensitive nature, is a perfect receiver for these messages. What is missing is not perception, it is recognition. At this point in the journey, the invitation is for you to look back in the last few weeks, months, even years, and recognize when your soul was already trying to speak to you. Spiritual listening begins with acceptance. You are already an active channel, and the more you recognize this, the more your soul's voice becomes stronger and clearer. The voice of the soul does not use words. It communicates in images, sensations, vibrations, and therefore often goes unnoticed. But when you learn to decode it, a new world reveals itself, the world of invisible signs. Pisces has an innate sensitivity to symbolic dreams, forebodings, creative impulses, and empathetic messages. But how do you differentiate true spiritual guidance from a thought created by fear or anxiety? The first key is the vibration of the message. The voice of the soul is never laden with despair or anguish. Even when she points out something difficult, she brings a sense of peace, clarity, and a gentle steadiness. Fear screams, the soul whispers, and his whisper is firm as the tide that always returns to the sea. The second key is in symbolic repetition, an animal that often appears in dreams. Repeated numbers like 1111 or 2222, the same phrase that appears in different places. A feeling of, "I've lived it," the famous déjà vu. These are spiritual codes. The soul of Pisces is fluent in this language, but it needs silence and presence to translate it. Therefore, dedicate moments of your day to contemplate. It can be when you wake up, writing down what you dreamed, or in a pause at dusk, feeling your body and your emotions. Interpretation does not come from the rational mind, it comes from feeling. You are not here by chance. Every detail of your reality has a deeper meaning. Decoding these messages is like opening the love letters that the universe wrote to you, and that you yourself wrote before you were born. Now, take a deep breath, close your eyes. Some message is already trying to arrive. Ignoring the voice of the soul comes at a cost. A silent, cumulative, and often devastating cost. When Pisces disconnects from its intuition, it also loses the north of its own existence. It is at this time that many Pisceans feel lost, confused, overwhelmed by emotions they do not understand. It is common to immerse yourself in fantasies, addictions, toxic relationships, or isolation. These are all unconscious attempts to fill the void left by spiritual disconnection. The soul is generous but persistent. When she is not heard softly, she begins to speak louder, and if it is still ignored, it screams through the body, the mind, the circumstances of life. Repetitive relationships, unexplained tiredness, a sense of not belonging, sudden anxiety, loss of meaning. These symptoms are not the problem. They are the sign that the soul is knocking on the door, begging to be heard. Many Pisceans spend years trying to cure symptoms with external distractions, when what they really need is to stop, silence, and listen. What is hurting, in fact, is the longing for one's own essence. Pisces' intuition is a reliable guide. When despised, it does not disappear, it withdraws. And with that, life loses its luster, direction, poetry. So this chapter is a gentle but firm reminder. Don't ignore your inner truth. If something inside you is asking for change, listen. If there is a persistent nagging sensation, investigate. It is not about fear, it's your soul asking for a reunion, and all healing begins with sincere listening. The transformation you seek has already begun, and it begins the moment you say, "I allow myself to listen." When you decide to listen to the inner voice, something begins to change, not overnight, but from the inside out. This active listening is the catalyst for deep and lasting transformations in your life. For the Pisces, this transformation does not mean becoming someone else. On the contrary, it is the process of aligning with your most authentic self. It is as if the fog that covered his path began to dissipate, revealing roots that were previously hidden. By trusting intuition, you begin to notice changes in several areas. Relationships start to flow with more understanding and less conflict. His career takes on a new meaning, more aligned with his mission. Emotional health is strengthened because you learn to respect yourself and set limits. Creativity and inspiration come naturally as an inexhaustible source. Imagine someone who followed a subtle impulse and ended up discovering a passion that changed their entire life. Or a Pisces who, by paying attention to the signs, walked away from a toxic relationship before it was too late. These stories may be hypothetical, but they reflect the real power of inner listening. Every small step taken in trust is a victory. Every decision based on the wisdom of the soul is a brick in the construction of its spiritual freedom. This chapter wants to remind you that true transformation is neither external nor forced. It is soft, deep, and inevitable when you honor your inner voice. So, make room for her today. What is she asking for? What do you want to hear? When you align with your inner voice, something magical happens. Life begins to flow with more lightness and harmony. This connection opens an energetic channel that unlocks the so-called spiritual flow, a state where creativity, inspiration, and intuition go hand in hand. For Pisces, this is especially powerful. You, who already feel the world in multiple dimensions, realize that by listening to the soul, you make room for the doors of the invisible to open wide open. In this flow, synchronicities increase. Answers appear more clearly, and even challenges seem to be part of a larger picture. Unlocking the spiritual flow does not mean running away from obstacles, but learning to navigate them, trusting in inner wisdom. It is trusting that even in the apparent chaos, your soul is guiding every step. This state also strengthens your compassion toward yourself and the world, and increases your sensitivity without overwhelming you. It is the balance between feeling and acting, between receiving and manifesting. The spiritual flow is the sacred space where your greatest potentialities can emerge. When you're in it, you create a place of pure inspiration without blocks or doubts. The key to unlocking it lies in continuous listening, conscious surrender, and loving acceptance of what arises, whether light or shadow. This chapter invites you to open yourself to this energy that already pulsates within you and that only needs your yes to expand. Listening to the inner voice is an art that can be cultivated daily, like a sacred garden. Small daily practices strengthen the connection with your intuition, making this listening clearer and more reliable. To begin with, intuitive meditation is a powerful ally. Take a few minutes of your day to simply be quiet without expectations, allowing the mind to calm down and subtle messages to flow naturally. Another valuable practice is soul journaling. Write down dreams, insights, feelings, and signs that appear throughout the day. Over time, you will begin to recognize patterns and receive clarity about inner messages. Spend time in nature, where the pace of life slows down and contact with the pure energy of the earth helps align your energy field. Even a brief walk or sitting near a tree can be a form of active meditation. Practice active listening with yourself. Ask yourself daily, what does my soul want me to know today? And then be open to the answers, even if they come in the form of silence or sensation. Also remember to respect your emotional boundaries. The process of inner listening is a journey that requires patience and kindness with yourself. Do not try to force the voice of the soul. It reveals itself at the right time. Incorporating these practices creates a solid foundation for Pisces intuition to flourish without noise or blockages. Be constant, even when it seems like nothing happens. The seed of listening grows slowly, and the fruits it will bear are transformative. Pisces' inner voice does not always flow freely. Often, emotional blocks, old traumas, and hidden fears create invisible barriers that prevent deep listening. These blockages can have different origins: painful experiences in childhood, affective disappointments, external demands, or even the feeling of not belonging. Each of these burdens carries an energy that clogs the subtle channels of intuition. But the good news is that healing is possible, and it starts with awareness and compassion. Recognizing these blocks without judgment is already a huge step towards freeing your soul. Embrace your pain with the same love you would give to a dear friend. Allow yourself to feel, to cry, to forgive. Be yourself and others. The shadow you fear is just a part of you asking for attention. Practices such as compassion meditation, energy therapy, therapeutic writing, and the support of spirit guides can help dissolve these inner knots. By releasing these ties, the inner voice gains space to fully manifest itself. Clarity and confidence increase, allowing intuition to guide more safely. Don't rush through the process. Healing is a journey, not a race. Respect your rhythm and celebrate every breakthrough, even if it seems small. You deserve to be at peace with yourself and your soul. By making room for this healing, you unlock a creative and spiritual potential that is the essence of true Piscean power. We have arrived at a sacred moment. The future you seek so much, the transformation you want to manifest, all of this is already within you, not in some external force, nor in magic formulas, but in the deep wisdom of your soul. Pisces, you carry a unique power, a direct conduit into the invisible dimensions of existence. This power reveals itself when you listen, trust, and act on your inner voice. The future is not a fixed destination. It's a constant dance between choice and delivery. By aligning with your authentic self, you begin to co-create the reality that resonates with your highest purpose. His sensitivity, once seen as weakness, is actually his greatest superpower. It allows you to perceive nuances that escape many and to connect hearts, energies, and dreams. This is the final invitation. Start listening to your inner voice more attentively today. Rewrite the mantra in the comments to seal that decision. I listen, receive, and trust the voice of my soul. Allow this affirmation to be your daily guide. With patience and love, you will see the transformation unfold from the inside out. Remember, the Piscean revolution is not about changing who you are, but about awakening to who you have always been. You are light, you are soul, you are infinite. The journey only begins when you take the first step, the step of listening. If this video touched your soul, leave your comment with the mantra, I listen, receive, and trust the voice of my soul. Thus, you activate this powerful energy within you and still help other people find their way. Subscribe to the channel To continue receiving deep messages, spiritual practices, and content that will help you awaken your best self, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. The universe may be speaking through you to that person. Remember, your inner voice is your greatest guide. Take care of her, trust her, and allow her to transform your life. Until the next meeting, where together we will continue to discover the mysteries of your sign and your soul.